Congratulations to our new married couple. And those of us that have spent 2, 3, 4, 5 and above years in marriage, well done. And congratulations to you all. Now, if you're a new couple starting up your marriage adventure, yes, I'll call it adventure, I want you to start with this positive mindset that marriage is a great institution. Marriage is very sweet and divine. And it takes two to tango. It takes both of you to make it work out. Now, I want you to join me in discussing this most important habits of every successful marriage and relationship. My name is Ifeoma-Marriage. I would like you to subscribe to my channel, where I'll be bringing you different series that will help us save our marriage. So, subscribe to this channel and also click on the notification bell so that whenever I make any new post, you will get it. On today's series, we are going to be looking at one of the habits, the most important habits of every successful marriage and relationship. So please, grab your popcorn, whatever you have, just pay attention. Let us discuss this together. Thank you so much. And please don't forget to leave your comments and also like this video after watching. Don't just watch and pass, all right? Click on the subscription button, the notification bell, and your comments. Thank you so much and stay tuned with me.
It's you and me, it's what you need, I got it.
Understanding different personality style can help you give each other more space and build a successful relationship and marriage. Today, I'll be wrapping up one of the 4 habits of a successful relationship and marriage. You know, every human being has a unique behavior. We behave differently. People tend to behave differently, react to situations differently, see things differently, have different mindsets, perceive things differently, and also understand actions differently. And that makes the individual differences in every relationship. You know, as a couple, it is an institution that is made up of 2 different individuals who are from different social background, different family background, different personality, different cultural background, and a lot of other factors. Now, the traits that people have, different traits that people have, tend to cause problems or sometimes strengthens relationship. Now, we are going to look at the practical way in which these habits can be applied to build a successful relationship. And if you are looking at the different traits of different people, especially couples in marriage, we are going to focus that on 3 major factors. You know, before I go into that, one of the habits of a successful relationship is creating a judgment-free atmosphere for your partner. You have to be appreciative of your partner. Appreciate before you judge. In other words, Andrea termed this first point as being curious and not critical. What does this mean? Well, it means that when you're in a relationship with your partner, you don't always have to criticize them based on the way they act. You don't have to judge them based on what they do. Just like I said that people have different mindsets, people have different ways of reacting to stimuli, people have different ways of reacting to actions, understanding other people's action and all that. Now, people that have successful relationship and marriage tend to understand this facts. And how do you become curious? How do you become judgment-free in a relationship? To do that successfully, you have to understand these 3 traits that can cause your partner to behave differently, to behave the way that sometimes disappoints you, to behave the way that sometimes irritates you, or behave the way that sometimes delights you. Now, the first one is personality difference. The second of them is gender difference. And the third of them is family and cultural difference. Family background or cultural background difference. Now I'm going to start with personality difference. That is a particular trait that one is known with. Personality. What are those behavior? What are those traits that you are known with? Traits that are attributed to you, to your behavior, to your character. That is personality, to my own understanding. But you can still check Google to know what personality entails. Now, people tend to have different personality problem in a relationship. One may tend to be temperamental, while the other one may tend to be calm. So you have to understand that your spouse has this personality different with you, and also find a way around which you can accommodate your spouse's behavior. Try to adjust to it and also manage it in order to have a successful relationship. Then the second one, which is gender difference. We know the female gender, we tend to behave differently from the male gender. I'll give you an instance. In terms of conversation, you know that whenever a female is around the husband, she tends to talk a lot. Even if she is this calm person in personality, even if she has this calm nature, quiet nature, but whenever you're around your spouse, you tend to talk a lot. And we know that, again, that men are not great listeners. They always want you to go straight to the point. They always want you to hit the nail straight on the head. Why we, the female, we keep going around the bush before we get to the point. Now, this behavior sometimes can irritate the men when you tend to talk a lot before you go straight to the point. And some men will say, please, can you stop blabbling and just go straight to the point? You see, this can oftentimes become a problem. So, trying to understand the different traits that are associated with gender difference will also help you to create more successful relationship. It also helps to create more successful interaction between you and your couple. And the third one is cultural and family background. Like I said before, people, husband and wife, come from different family background. Imagine you and your spouse. You come from a different family background. There are some spouses that the man come from a polygamous family, and the woman come from a monogamous family. Now there are these particular certain traits that the man may possess and feel that it is okay, because that is what he grew up seeing from his family. That is what he grew up learning from his family. And most times he tends to bring that into his own marriage because he has already taken it as a normalcy. So creating a successful relationship around this place means that you both have to understand before you ask questions, before you start judging your spouse on the way he behaves. It is important you try to trace the traits. Try to look at the traits. Be curious to know why he behaved this way. And this curiosity is what will take you to these differences. The personality difference, gender difference, and family background and cultural difference. So, one of the habits of a successful relationship is being curious, as Andrea explained it. Being curious and not critical. You should, rather than spending time being judgmental, rather than spending time criticizing your spouse, you should be curious. Be curious to know the factor that led to that behavior from your spouse. Ask question. Why did she do that? Trace. Oh, maybe that was where he grew up. Maybe that was the knowledge he learned from his family. Now, you will begin to appreciate your spouse first. Appreciate him for who he is. Even if you want to tender your correction, you first of all appreciate him. Having known where that behavior is coming from, you appreciate him or her before you can correct in a respectful way and not judging or being critical. Now let's talk about cultural differences. You know, okay, I will use example with eating habits. Sometimes the way people eat, you know, may tend to baffle you. The way your couple eats, your partner eats, may tend to, annoy you sometimes, irritate you, or sometimes it will leave you amazed. You have to trace back also. There are some culture that allows people to eat with their bare hand. They eat. Not everybody have the culture of eating with fork, knife, and spoon. That is eaten in the English way. There are cultures, some cultural backgrounds that people tend to eat with their hand. No matter what they are eating, they eat it with their hand. So when you marry your spouse and you find out that she eats with her hand, you don't show you don't get irritated by it, and you don't show your irritation. You have to first appreciate in amazement. Oh, you eat with your hands? Is that how you do it in your home? Wow, I've never seen somebody eating like that before. You can also try it just in order to create a successful, a peaceful atmosphere between you and your spouse. Don't make them feel bad. Don't make them feel as if what you're doing is a taboo. You can also try to do it with them. Then from there you can chip in. Oh, this is great. Eating with your bare hand is great. But you can also try eating with cutleries. You can see, when you do that, you're creating a peaceful interaction between you and your partner. And because you have appreciated her first, you appreciated the way she eats, okay, now she may try to learn your own way of eating. And from there, you can tell her reasons why she has to eat in a modern way, in the way you think is most appropriate, both for outdoor or indoor. So, with this, if you begin to practice this, I don't know if you've been practicing this in your home, but today I urge you to practice these habits. Practice this. Try to appreciate your partner. Do not criticize. Do not judge your partner. Always, whenever they do something that irritates you, something that you don't approve of, something that seems so weird to you, try to be curious to know why they have to do that. Let me say this. My mother used to say this in my dialect. She would say, "Uche onye adinayanjo," meaning that no one person's thoughts is wrong. Because sometimes you tend to do things because you feel that what you're doing is the right thing. So people tend to do things in a very different and unique way, which may sometimes be irritating, disappointing, delighting, annoying. And if you ask them, why do you have to do such things that are so absurd? You will see that they will have reasons to give. They will have reasons to explain such behavior, or explain why they have to do things that way. And it's not their faults. It is because of those three traits that we've discussed. So, understanding people's different mindsets is as important as your partner. You have to understand different mindsets of your partner based on these three factors, or rather traits that we've discussed. And when you do that, it will help you to create self-awareness. It will help you to understand yourself first. It will help you to be aware of your own behavior, to understand why you behave this way. You behave in a certain way sometimes, and it will also help you to understand and be aware of your partner's behavior. It will help you to, rather than spending your time using abusive words on your partner, maybe, why are you doing this? You behave like a fool. You're acting like a goat. You're acting like an animal. You're acting like a chicken. You use the time, to be curious, to know why he has to behave that way. So many couple are not very much opportune to grow up in a family whereby they were given good parental upbringing. A lot of individuals experience abusive relationship between their father and their mother. A lot of couples experience a lot of different negative experience from their parents. And most times they come into marriage with this. So you as a spouse, you have to understand all the traits, these differences, understand this background, differences arising from background, arising from personality, arising from gender. And it will help you to be more appreciative rather than being judgmental. It will help you to create a peaceful interaction between your partner. And when there's a peaceful interaction between your partner, when there's peaceful atmosphere between you and your partner, it will help to bring about the needed change in the family. The needed change that will help both of you to become more attached with each other. That will help both of you to be more intimate and also give room for other things like communication. So, this habit is very important if you have not been practicing it. If you have never taken cognizance of this in your marriage, begin to consider it. Not just consider it, begin to put it in practice. Practice the habit of appreciating rather than criticizing. Practice the habit of being curious to know why your wife has to do this, rather than calling her a goat, rather than calling her a foolish woman. Know why she has to do things this way. Rather than insulting your husband or disrespecting him for no reason, try to understand where he is coming from. Understanding where he is coming from will help you to bring the modification and behavior that is needed in a marriage. Because in being curious to know, it will help you to appreciate him. Yes, because that is what he has grown up seeing from his parents. That is what his gender, the traits that is attributed to his gender. That is what is attributed to his personality. So from there, you can go into the next step, which is respectful communication. So thank you for listening till this moment. And if you're watching me for the first time, I think this is about the second video that I am making. That is the second series of Save My Marriage and Relationship.
It's you and me, hey, it's what you need.